Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the official Clown Town podcast here on the Chief Jehovah Variety Channel. My name is Chief Jehovah, also known as Jacob. Joining me today, as always, is Dino, and we
Heyo!
managed to get Colo, aka Suede, back on the podcast today, or tonight, rather.
Had to fucking bribe him with my feet pics to get him in here, man.
Yeah, sell high dollar. OF, be a bitch sometime. Well, I got a theme for today. If nobody else wants to talk about anything, I know a lot of crazy stuff has been going on.
Oh my god, where do we even begin? But I feel like it's on topic with current events and stuff with the whole rich balloon thing.
With the China spy balloon and everything. My topic has nothing to do with anything recent. Mine has to do with the concept of humans, like of humanity coming together as a whole.
Ooh, okay.
Like going way back into the beginning stages of human, like I don't know,
Evolution and whatnot.
kind of like how we became intelligent and stuff.
Okay.
And had a few things remind me of this because this is something I wanted to go over at some point. I wasn't sure how early into the podcast I wanted to do it. But Suede popped in randomly one day while we were all sitting here playing Monster Hunter or something. He popped in while like on his phone driving and said that Noah's Ark was a spaceship. I figured it out. That's what it was. Do you remember that, Suede?
Yeah, because it is.
Because it is, and I'm glad you're keep going with that because this is going with the theme. It's all kind of going to lead into to a ancient an ancient race of people that I don't exactly know how to describe them because many theories go over them. Because basically, have you guys heard of the Anunnaki before?
No.
No, I talked about it a little bit in the past, like just in conversation about theories and stuff. Basically, so like ancient Sumeria, like the Anunnaki were gods in their mythology.
Okay.
But there's been a lot of evidence evidence. There's been a lot of theorizing behind the Anunnaki actually being, because our universe has been around for what, like 14.3 billion years, something like that.
Something like that.
That's how old the universe is, and our sun and our solar system's probably been around for like the sun's definitely 6.5 million years old, or billion, my bad, 6.5 billion years old, and our solar system kind of falls into place with that, like over the course of billions of years.
Yeah.
So we weren't the first solar system to form, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
So who's to say there wasn't intelligent life that was created before us to eventually come and visit us here on Earth? We're starting this off strong with conspiracy, by the way.
I fucking love
We're
this
going
topic
right into
because
this.
I mean, between the Noah's Ark thing, yeah, that had so much free rent in my head for a hot minute. I'm dead. That shit fucking
The Noah's
blew
Ark
my
thing was
brain
pretty
away.
and it hit me. It was like, well, that's actually that's actually a theory in this as well.
But when it comes to like ancient civilizations that are like other civilizations being capable of visiting us, I think that'll happen at some point, even if it's like
Do you think it already happened? You think maybe an ancient race had already come here, got what they needed, and left?
or maybe they came too early, right? They came here in the prehistoric era, and there's just no intelligent life. They're like, ooh, maybe we'll come back to
Now,
like
see,
the
that's where this theory comes into place.
oh.
Okay, so essentially, my gist over. There's a lot of people who can go into way more depth than this, but I really kind of want to go on my own like suspicions and theories on things to what makes sense to me. So billions upon billions of years, we've only existed humanity from a primitive state as like a homogeneous species has only existed for maybe 200,000 years. The Earth, I think, is like 4 billion years old, something like that. Somebody can fact check me in the comments if you want to. I don't want to do too much Google searching because I want to do more talking than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, this sounds. I mean, pretty.
we've been we've been here for a fraction of the Earth's lifespan, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have not been here that long, and it takes millions of years for species to evolve. It could take thousands, it could take hundreds. Species evolve all the time and adapt, and certain things.
But it still takes a while to have any type of noticeable difference in like any kind of
But just think
evolutionary
about how
trait.
long, like in a short time span we've come as a society, like as a species. we really did go from being regular primates, like just like pretty much less hairy primates. Not gonna say hairless because we're just less hairy. Well, we were less hairy,
Yourself, no, I'm
primates
kidding.
into these structure making, civilization, trading, hunting, gathering, just these creatures. Like we became intelligent at such a rapid rate, right?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of insane. And I mean, right now it kind of seems like we're de-escalating and devolving our
I think we've
intelligence to a
definitely
degree.
plateaued, for
To
sure.
yeah,
Nah.
kind of like the only way is down right now, especially with our current state of affairs. But why do you think we just went from like several 100,000 years of just being everyday monkeys into just spiking up and being these humans that we are, into being what makes us human, into having this conscience and having this intelligent thought and this rational this ability to think?
That's a that's a complicated question. It could be a ton of factors. I mean, so much is just like it doesn't even have to be an alien, just like some kind of predatory species at the time, kind of like
And it could
making
have
it
been.
a necessity to become that intelligent.
It's like, okay, we're sleeping out next to a fire, with no real shelter. We need to start making better shelters. Okay, well, we've
Otherwise,
been
we're
in
gonna
this
be eaten by
cave for so long, but it gets cold in the cave, or like predators are staying outside of our cave, preventing us from getting food, things like that. Like it takes too long, we got to move. It gets cold during this time of the year, so staying in the cave doesn't work. So we got to have outside structures with fire. Well, how are we going to move our stuff? Well, we got to make a wheel in order to make a cart in order to transfer our stuff easier, so we don't just leave everything behind and have to start anew.
But from what it sounds like you have a different idea. Maybe that this knowledge was passed down instead. Is that what we're getting at?
In a way. So, where the Anunnaki theory comes in is that they were in search. They were in search of a resource. People speculate that they were in search of gold. So we're actually kind of like because gold goes into a lot of our devices right now too when it comes to electronics and stuff, to a degree, not as much as silicone. Um, and that's another theory, thinking that they're like silicone-based species. I actually think they were very similar to ours. I think they were like basically another race of humans like us, maybe given a gift, maybe
subspecies.
given a gift by another species, and it just a cycle, and left to their vices, and they needed something, scoured out a planet that they could viably reach. People
Oh
are
yeah, because space travel is no joke. Like fucking. I mean, even just like fucking space voyages from fucking like the moon and shit. You're gone for what, months on end, something like
we can
that,
get
weeks.
to the moon and back within like 4 days.
Oh, I'm thinking a totally different planet then,
Yeah,
because
it
I.
takes like a month. I want to say it takes like 3 weeks to get to Mars, something like that.
Oh
At
wow,
current
where am I?
technology, I think.
Why did I think it took longer? I don't know
Well, it
why I
used
thought it
to.
just took longer.
It did take longer,
Ah,
but we just
I
got
guess I
better. We
just
have
have
better
been.
technology now to where we can make a trip to the moon in no time.
That's fucking. I never really looked into how much faster it's been over the last, like, I would say, even
Well,
just like
we've
the
had all
last
the
30
cuts
years.
and projects and stuff over the years from different presidencies, and just country cooperation not being great. But overall, so the theory behind it is that these. Have you guys heard of Nibiru? A planet called Nibiru.
Nope.
It's been thrown around a lot in a conspiracy space. Um,
Hmm.
Ironically, but people speculate it's like another planet in our solar system that we just haven't been able to detect. I don't really buy that as much, to be honest, unless these guys were so advanced and they really don't want us to know that they're there for some reason, and they have some kind of cloaking mechanism to where our satellites can't pick them up, or we can't get the
Yeah,
radio waves or whatever. I think they're from out of the solar system.
that would make way more sense than them being here, and then like we just haven't fucking seen them this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, and that they have space travel technology to where they can see. Another theory is thinking that they had light technology, which we are currently deeming it might be impossible to achieving light speed without vaporizing the crew.
Ugh.
But
Jesus.
who knows? So they're basically these things. The Anunnaki were ancient Sumerian gods, but the more that you looked into ancient Sumerian culture and their their writings and everything made it seem like they lived among them and followed their, like, they gave them instruction and actually bred with them. Uh, a lot of theories involve DNA splicing and
Ew.
us getting their DNA and things like that. So like Adam and Eve being the first breed of humans with Anunnaki DNA,
Oh,
and
okay.
then subsequently making who we are today.
So for like primordial humans, I guess, is what we're kind of getting at here. Kind of just
Yeah,
not necessarily like human, but like the precursor to what we are today, I
we are
suppose.
now as a, like, as an intelligent life. So the pre like this era of humans weren't like super intelligent, and a theory of the Anunnaki enslaved us in order to gather the resources that they needed before they had to go. And that I kind of get that to a degree. If they came here, gave like, and initially just saw, okay, well, there's life here, and there's the resources we need. Let's just go. And then they found us, and was like, well, this species seems to have a level of intelligence, just not a great one.
So that's where we got the idea of slavery from.
It could be because we could have all been enslaved first to
Oh,
gather, resources for the Anunnaki that they needed that they didn't want to do themselves, and who knows how many planets they had been to at this point, depending on how old this
man,
race
we've been
is.
flying around this fucking solar system for like 5 light years.
We've been here for 5 billion years.
Can we just make the fucking hairy monkey do it?
Yeah, I mean that basically that's what it is. Like bringing them
Oh my
into a
god.
state of where they enslaved us in order to gather their resources. And I mean that would make sense to me. You get what you need from the planet. You make them smart enough to where they can get what you need, and then lead them to their vices. But nobody thought to, like, maybe we should keep an eye on them, make sure they don't get too smart. And then they saw nukes going off, and oh fuck, they got too smart.
We just see from from the outskirts of like the fucking cosmos or whatever, they just little tiny light on our planet of fucking of the Japanese bombing or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, seeing like
And
the
they're just
bombs
like,
from Hiroshima and
ooh,
Nagasaki.
we check on that?
It's like, oh fuck, they're killing themselves. I guess
Oh
we won't
no.
be getting resources from that planet anymore.
Oh
They'll probably bomb the shit out of us.
god. You think that would be a thing if we became too powerful for our own predecessors? Like if that's even a possibility?
That they would like wipe us out or just completely ignore us.
Or like they could, yeah, they would have to ignore us because like maybe we grew too
Maybe,
advanced.
yeah, got too powerful. It's possible, and like that'd be another theory going down as to why they don't interact with us.
We're slowly merging into the Mass Effect plot.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, Mass Effect isn't that far fetched if you think about it. It's not super far fetched.
It's not really, yeah.
Yeah, we don't really know what's out there. I mean, they could have used like things similar to mass relays in order to get here. That's actually a theory too, that they use things
God.
like mass relays in order to travel through space. But no, the theory went down as to how they were thinking, well, if we made these things more intelligent, they could harvest resources more reliably.
More
So they started
efficiently.
data splicing us and everything. Many biblical tales lined up with ancient Sumerian tales as well. So I think that they're predating like the Bible's retelling of events that happened in ancient cultures, in such a similar fashion, like Noah's Ark, like Sway was saying.
Is it weird that I kind of feel like all those stories, like I could totally see the entire Bible being like our offshoot retelling of like things that did happen, but like they're being retold in our eyes that are, as humans at the time could comprehend it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. Is we can comprehend so much more than what a human, even like 800 years ago, could. Like I'd say even 300.
Doesn't feel like it sometimes. I feel pretty.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But it's just we have a level of understanding that humans didn't at a time, and that's kind of where all this comes from too, is our level of understanding. And to a degree, I have more theories as well on the Anunnaki and their like gene splicing is essentially we do that we've done that to many animals.
We're doing it to ourselves now.
We're doing
Like,
it to ourselves. So
literally do it with our babies.
what's preventing this advanced race that came here to enslave us to get resources for them while they're here splicing our DNA with theirs and saying, well, these things have potential. They have a similar genetic makeup to us. Can we splice our genes with them? Can we breed with them? I mean, even then, that could kind of fall into like like ancient Greek and ancient Roman religions as well,
My
like
brain went
mythologies, like
immediately to
mating with gods and
Egyptian.
gods being these alien like beings.
Ugh, God, it's fascinating to me because, like I said, I feel like a lot of religion does mirror like the possibility of like early terrestrial life or extraterrestrial life. Is the word. But it I think the one I have like, the most questions about when it comes to that kind of theory is that I wonder if they're still alive. Like maybe I wonder how come they haven't come to if the theory is about the resources, right? Like the whole reason they gave us
Well,
this knowledge
the
to begin with
the
was
resources, the level of knowledge, and just the similarities in ancient civilizations around the world that existed in similar time frames, but also thousands of years apart in the same way, building similar structures, having similar tales of great floods, of beings coming down and helping them, these multi gods, you know, breeding the same temple structures, and the same like resources that have been gathered for thousands of years, and just kind of seemingly going nowhere.
I was about to say that's the biggest thing. Like they haven't gotten what they needed clearly. Meh.
No,
Well,
I
hold
think
on.
they did get what they needed.
Is this also related to the Egyptians
This
with
can be, yeah.
I
well,
could see that.
because I remember reading a theory. I cannot find the source of it, but it was something. Long story short, basically they came down to the Egyptians. That's why the Egyptians have all the pyramids and shit.
Yeah,
And in trade, they got gold from them, which is why the Egyptians treated gold like it was, the greatest thing ever.
and that might be why why the gold standard has worked for so many like so many hundreds of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands. It really
Well,
should
I
have been
think that would
thousands of
just be a
years
side effect of that.
of us realizing how valuable gold is. Like we don't have a lack of gold by any means. Well, there's a shit ton of gold on Earth, but who knows how much more there was and how much more valuable it could be to another race who doesn't have gold
Yeah.
as prominently, like the Anunnaki maybe.
And even if it's not as prominent, it could just so happen to be the currency they fucking use.
It could be. Precious metals is still precious metals no matter what planet you go on. Even if the planet has an abundance of it, it's gonna be precious to somebody. But yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no. If
this
I feel like this correlates to anything, the Egyptians and like all of the tales from the Middle East, I think are not the Middle East.
no, it's
You know what
Middle
I'm
East.
talking
Yeah, it's Middle East.
about. Oh, okay.
Ancient Sumeria, I guess Sumeria would have been where Iraq is, or Iran, in that general area.
Yeah, I'm not sure about my regional area, so I didn't want to say the wrong place. But you know what I'm talking about. Like
There'll be
I
enough people in
think
the comments correcting us on multi things. And if you guys have your own theories, feel free. I love hearing it. I love seeing it.
it does help us feed the flames.
Yeah, and like you can always, I like being corrected, so correct me as much as you need to.
You just learn more from other people.
That's
too.
exactly what it is. I like to be educated more on this stuff because I mean it's a thing that could be the case, and we just through thousands of years of just kind of minding our own business, not give a fuck about it anymore. Like because the technology that they used in order to shape some of this stuff is insane. There's so many theories on how they did it, and other people like, but nothing's ever concrete on how they did it without getting outside help.
Yeah.
And I'm sure somebody will post like, well, actually, there's this video and he explained it pretty well on how they did it, and this is backed up by it. But I mean, like, how far does that go? How many ways do you need to prove that? Their understanding of it, which I mean, it could be the case too. It could be completely wrong.
I mean, at the end of the day, those are theories as well.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
all
theories
theories.
can be disproven. No, disproven. That's the
Yep.
word.
I think they're all theory. Like they're. I don't think we'll ever really know concrete unless we get, unless we get an alien come down and tell us like, hey.
I think we'll get visited in the next like generation or three. I'd say.
You never know. It depends.
Who's
on
to
how...
say we haven't been visited already?
And that's what I'm saying. Is like I think they visited us when we were like still shitting and writing on the walls with shit and blood. Like.
Now here's a question. Okay, so if you believe that there's some type of
Well, we're all
offshoot
still
human-
shitting, I guess.
with some offshoot like human subspecies or subtype of humans. What's to say that we don't have those, those certain type of, humans among us now? Not even just them being like secret aliens or anything, but like they're just a part of our human species already, if that makes any sense. Like if
You
they're
mean
already integrated with our, our
you mean like
populace.
ones that haven't gotten the Anunnaki DNA, or the ones that do have it?
The ones that do, like they have it either innately or just like in
Well,
dormant.
I think it's more likely that we all have it in us. I think we all share a specific genome that
Oh,
we all have, because there used to be other humanoids aside from Homo sapiens like us,
like the dwarves.
like the dwarves.
Mm.
Hey,
Bro, you know,
look,
I could
gnomes and
be
dwarves
one
are
of
a whole
these
nother
people.
theory. Gnomes and dwarves are a whole nother theory I want to go over, because for somehow all of Europe had the same theory of these little gnomes and dwarves,
Are you fucking serious?
and they had no contact with each other, but they all had the same stories of gnomes. Like they
Oh,
do. They did. All across Europe. No contact with each other. All believed in little gnomes, and now we can't find gnomes. I think we killed off all the gnomes.
fuck.
Which might have been another humanoid like species. But I mean like the Neanderthals and God. There's like two other ones whose names I can never remember. They're all like they're like homogeneous or something like that. I forget.
That sounds somewhere around the park, but I get what you're saying. Homo something.
Yeah. Home
Homo
Alone 2,
correctus later.
Homo erectus, but somebody correct me in the comments. But I mean, us being like, because I don't know at what point did we wipe them out? Because we definitely killed off the other, or just kind of interbred with other like hominoids over the course of centuries.
Yeah, they don't have to like die out by like fucking force or anything. They don't have to be
I
goddamn.
mean, we
fucking-
definitely killed and ate each other. That's for damn sure. There's no way that didn't happen. At least
They
to a
can still
degree.
be socially, well, not socially, just like just they fiddle out just because no one reproduces.
Because I mean, some of us still have Neanderthal DNA in us.
I'm convinced I've
degree.
seen one. I'm fucking that
Yeah.
7 foot fucker. Nah, I'm convinced.
Yeah, the
They're-
motherfucking dude. Actually,
one's
Neanderthals are pretty short.
pure-blooded. Wait, what?
Yeah, I think they
What
were
would-
like shorter and wider than we were. I
This
think they
dude was
had like
wide,
more
but he
like
was
I think they had more like more
broad.
condensed pack, and we were more like lean and fit.
Hmm.
Definitely
this
not
dude was
anymore.
freaking
But
broad, but he was fucking huge.
yeah, talk about the 7 foot guy.
Yes.
Yeah,
We'll always have free rent in my head.
yeah. There's some big people out there, dude.
Oh my god, not like that. That was like no.
But
Biggest man to date.
the thing that a theory I have on my own, you know how it just seems like everybody's kind of gone a little crazy.
Yeah, but I feel like everyone's always been a little
Well, I mean,
crazy.
specifically, how has the world felt since 2012?
20 Nah.
No, but no, like seriously. Think
Oh
about the
my
last time
God.
everything felt normal. Everything's weird as shit.
I
Everything's just
can't
gone
even
fucking
disagree with
bonkers.
that. It did feel
And
like after
since
2012.
2012, everything's been batshit crazy. Maybe I'm batshit crazy. I don't know, but I mean, am I wrong? Have you
I
guys
mean-
felt like nothing's changed?
That'd be kind of
Like,
cool, like
something's
because the
weird.
Mayan calendar never accounted for,
Maybe
for life to go past 2012. Like now we're cursed to have some kind of bad omen.
I don't know, but I have a theory with the Anunnaki theory. So genes deteriorate, like genes get diluted over time, right?
Mhm.
And depending on the incubation day or the last incubation of the DNA would be the last purity DNA that we had in our species. Meaning that yeah, we have a certain point as to where there will be a height of this gene in us, but over time, as long as we keep reproducing with each other, it's probably going to get diluted since we don't have the source gene from an actual purebred Anunnaki.
We fucked them out of existence.
Well, we're kind of fucking our genes out of existence if they're the ones who provided us with that initial, like, because genes split and pass down, But the more human DNA you mix into that, and the less Anunnaki purebred you have into that, the more that's going to get filtered out, depending on how theirs work.
Oh,
I mean,
so what
really
you're saying
depending
is
on ours.
that was kind of a time frame of when the dilution or like the
Like
degradation.
it's going to deteriorate, and we're going to. I don't know for sure. It's just a theory of maybe we're losing intelligence, or maybe we're losing, what makes
Well, I
us
don't know if they
the
predicted
humans
the
we are.
timing of it, but I do see us definitely getting diluted in our gene pool. That's for sure. I
Yeah.
can definitely attest to that. That is definitely happening. But in terms of the Mayan calendar, I have a few theories in terms of like what I could possibly think that you know it ending at 2012 could possibly be, kind of mainly linking up to the whole like Noah's Ark, them coming from space or whatever. I think that's more of a calendar of not necessarily when they come, but kind of like a time frame of when you know that's the last kind of um how would I explain this? Like that's the last little like time frame that they set. So at this point now we're flying blind until they either make another one or they just come visit outright,
Well, the
or
Mayans
they never come.
vanished. The Mayans vanished.
Not Mayans, but like the people who or like the what I'm like the people who get, because I'm under the assumption because of the structures and whatnot that they probably could have gotten the influence, um, the knowledge to create these structures in the first place. So what's to
They
say that they weren't given this time frame from the fucking, I'm never gonna pronounce what you keep saying
Anunnaki.
correctly. Anunnaki. Oh, I did say it right.
Yeah.
But maybe that knowledge was passed down in terms of like the time frame of
Give them a general spitball.
hmm
I mean, it could be. Definitely could have. Or they could have just ran out of rocks. It's possible. They could have just ran out of stone.
all the way to 20. That's so, I don't know. That's a fuck ton of rocks to just out of nowhere be like, you know what? I
Damn,
think
we
I
out of
just realized
rocks.
that this is fucking dumb. We're done with this. No,
The
I refuse.
the grand sculptor who was like crafting the calendar looked to the fucking god king of the Mayans and was like, "My king, we've run out of rocks for the calendar." And he looks down upon him and goes, "Sacrifice. Kill him.
Oh no! Fuck.
New calendar, man. Make
Oh my
calendar."
god.
Looks down. It's good. Leave. Uh,
Oh my god.
Watch it have not meant to be 2012 and 2102.
Oh my god.
Oh god, that'd be 104 and
Assuming
2102.
Not
we,
our
we
problem.
Not
I
our
was about to
problem.
say, well, that'll be 20 years or about 15 years a little too late.
But yeah, that's just some spitball theory around on that. I don't know. I don't know for sure. It's just like an idea I had when I was thinking of it.
No, I thought that's fucking wicked. I mean, especially since a lot of it fucking correlates to
Well, just
like current civilizations. Sorry,
just
go ahead.
notice how much our mental health is declining these days, And I don't know if it's just because we're doing it to ourselves or if maybe it is a genetic thing in us deteriorating. I mean, it would kind
I
of
could
make sense. Our
I could
rationale.
definitely see the deterioration thing just because I do feel like just lately the fucking, I don't know, the gene pool seems very selective in terms of who's not a fucking tool slash like actual monster. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, because there's some real monsters coming out, especially now.
That might just be because we have more access to information. I feel like that has a lot to do with all of this stuff, like in
Yeah.
terms of like fucking conspiracy theories and even just like more commonly known stuff. I think just having this much information can kind of dilute how things actually are.
It could really fuck with people too and make people just not care anymore.
Well, it can also make them kind of anxious. Like I feel like
Oh, give like
sometimes,
a universal dread.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it almost gives like a fucking, what is it called? A fucking nihilistic, not a nihilistic view, but almost like a hopeless kind of view of things if you fucking find yourselves on the wrong corners of the goddamn internet.
Yeah. Wrong corners of the internet, wrong corners of your mind, even sometimes. You
Kind of
get,
how you find
dude. I
those.
used to get panic attacks. Like even like I think I had one not that long ago. I was at work, and my brain just goes somewhere, and I start having like these thoughts of trying to understand the concept of eternity and what that would feel like in my own like state of mind. And all the probabilities of like what makes sense because I try to like think what eternal life is like,
Like simulated
or
in
even
your
like
head. No, I
like
totally get that.
or like even if the reality is it's just eternal darkness or whatever, at death, right?
Ooh, that one is
That
what.
one
Oh,
fucks with me so bad because it's like,
that one
what
has
does that
some
feel like?
fragments.
Like, like, because people say that you could, in your final moments, you can live 1,000 lifetimes. Like, you could live forever. You could be dead right now. Like shit like
It's
that.
usually kind of like a coma thing, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, even so, like your brain still has activity for a while after you're dead, and that's just probably keeping you in a perpetual state of living or whatever the fuck it could be. I mean, I
But
don't have any definite answers. There could just be an afterlife, or you could just be reincarnated, or whatever.
the only times I've ever had an anxiety attack about that kind of thing is I had a thought one day where I think I was literally trying to take a nap. I was like fucking like 3 days away. Like I had been stayed up for like 3 days. I think this was much like when I was like in fucking middle school or whatever. But I was just thinking about how I had heard that death can feel like meditating or sleeping.
Yeah,
So sometimes I would think about how like strange it feels to be asleep and have that simulated feeling, or like we actually have like a way to prepare for death if
yeah.
we wanted to.
For a third year life, you already know what death's like.
It's fucking and sometimes like have you ever like felt like you're consciously sleeping? Does that make sense? Or like you're aware that
You're
you're
awake
sleeping?
in your sleep, and you know that this
Yes.
is a dream. Yeah, I get that sometimes.
Yes.
I used to be able to force myself into one of those,
Oh my
into
god.
like one of those dreams where I can just like, oh, I'm asleep. Let me take over.
But I had that happen with that meditation death sleep thing at the same time, and that had to be one of the worst nightmares I've ever had.
Oh,
Holy
thought
cow!
that you were
And
dead.
well, no, yeah, and the worst part is like how there it was nothing. It wasn't. It didn't. There was no images, no sounds, or anything, and it just I don't know. It fucking I shot the fuck back up. I think I was only asleep for maybe like an
Oh, so
hour.
you like you like almost like mentally like sensory deprived yourself of senses.
Maybe I don't
Like
fucking.
your
I'm not
body like,
actually sure.
oh my god, never go into one of those like sensory deprivation tanks.
Oh my
That might
god.
actually make you have a panic attack.
Yeah, nah, pass. I've never had an interest in any of that, so I'm kosher. I feel like I'm pretty in my own head naturally. Thank you very much. Oh man,
It's
but
understandable.
but I think about that a lot actually. Yeah.
No, I used to think about it a lot more. I've stopped caring as much
Oh yeah,
anymore about
now
it
I'm
because
just like,
I started realizing that there's no point in
yeah, I'm
even
like, I'll
thinking about it, especially if it's
get
just
to it
gonna
when I
make
get to
me
it.
have a panic attack. So fuck it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Not
I don't even when I think about it, it doesn't even affect me anymore, dude.
really.
You stop
Yeah,
caring.
I've thought about it so much that it doesn't even. What's weird is I've noticed the older I've gotten, the deeper I can go. If that makes sense.
Oh, like closer into accepting.
Not even that. Like the deeper my perspective gets,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
totally.
okay,
and
yeah.
yeah, because I did it lately just out of curiosity. Like it sat there while I was at work and thought about it. I'm like, yeah, yeah, it's still the same, still sucks.
Yeah, just how
Nah.
far into the concept of nothingness for
Yeah.
eternity. Yeah. But the thing is like we don't even know if that's the case. That's the wild part
Mm,
about it. We
but
have
it
no.
probably is the
It's
case.
a good like it's the most likely scenario. But you
My
have
only other theory about that is that other than the blackness, my theory to that as well is that I think you know how like sometimes you can feel things when you're asleep.
yeah.
I think you'd be able to feel yourself degrade,
Oh, like
if
over
that makes
time.
sense. Yeah. And for some reason, I don't imagine that being.
I don't imagine that being
Hey,
too bad.
imagine that being like a warm, slow sensation, like almost like going into a hot tub of water. Oh
Yeah.
wow, that's pretty much what a fucking isolation take. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm never going in one.
Never
Oh.
going one of those, yeah.
No.
I mean, if that might be the case, just like you're dreaming that entire time. I feel bad for people who get cremated now, though.
Oh god. But it sounds cozy. It's warm.
Yeah, I don't know. There, like, I can't provide any definitive proof on anything.
Nobody can. There's literally
Like,
no
you literally
fucking
only find
possible
out
way.
when you die. This like the biggest. It's one of the biggest mysteries that we all are going to experience at one point and find out.
But never be able to tell anyone
Never be able
about.
to tell a single person,
Fucking
unless there is an afterlife or unless there is you know, like are reincarnated. Even if you get reincarnated, you probably won't know.
This is what all these birds have been doing this
Shit,
whole
one of
time.
my, I think I'd rather it be dark than be reincarnated at a point. Because what if I get reincarnated as a fucking fish or something?
Dude,
That'd be
you've seen
fucking
my luck. That's
terrifying.
exactly what's gonna happen to me.
I
You
get,
fucking kidding me?
I'd be like one of the fucking like eggs in like Nemo's brethren, and that fucking barracuda comes in and kills us all.
Get fucking spawn killed.
Get spawn
tragic
killed.
on your reincarnated life.
It's being. I would, if we get reincarnated, please reincarnate us as our own fucking species. I'd rather be a human again. I'll take my chances.
I want to be reincarnated as a fucking bacteria.
As like a
A
single-celled
bacteria.
organism.
That is the last answer I would have thought.
You want to be a single-celled organism?
Reincarnate me as COVID.
Reincarnate me.
That's COVID. No.
COVID.
Then I'll never go away.
And then I'll never die.
Oh my god.
What sucks is even if you did get reincarnated as that, you'd have such a short lifespan, you wouldn't even really remember it. Of course, you wouldn't remember it. It'd be pointless. But
Yeah,
then
you
again,
have
I
no
guess
conscience.
in that perspective, it would seem a lot longer.
Probably.
You just like blink and you miss it. Like you literally just lived the whole life of a fucking COVID virus. Oh, next reincarnation.
What I think would be
didn't
wild is if like you got reincarnated, but you took over a completely like say like reincarnation happens
Oh
on
my
a
god.
like happens on a like conscious level. So you would have to go into a creature that has your equal conscience, and it just puts you on a fucking brand new species on a whole new planet.
Oh my
You know,
god.
and you're a totally different like intelligent creature with this like same intelligence level as we have.
I honestly believe that that's probably more likely than anything if like sentience were to pass on in any way, shape, or form. Just because I feel like if any fucking human got reincarnated as any animal on this planet, we'd fucking know.
Yeah.
Even if they couldn't talk, they do some fuck shit and they do
Oh, yeah.
something like super unnatural for their species or something.
Yeah.
Like fucking turtle found at a bar or something.
Yeah.
But I feel like it just make more sense because then like I feel like most of these animals are just fumbling around figuring out how the fuck to survive in general. So I mean, if even if you were a human who were reincarnated on Earth as like a fucking bird, you have some idea of how to survive, and all of a sudden you're an apex fucking bird.
Yeah.
You know where to find all the food. You know how to fucking, yeah. I mean, you have human knowledge in a fucking animal's body. Gee.
Yeah. I have a feeling that actually like maybe I would imagine your past life kind of fades away over time.
I could see that either that or it becomes like that gene thing you were talking about. Because I've had dreams where it feels like a totally different life, like a different like almost a picture of like a day in the life of somebody else, and I can't tell what time frame it is or like even faces or whatnot. But I'm convinced that if consciousness, whatever the word is, I cannot pronounce it right now. I've been saying it too much. But if that is something that's able to biodegrade, like like fleshes to grass and that kind of thing, I believe that like it's possible to have flashes of like people's prior lives, especially if reincarnation is possible.
Okay, so you think like maybe you can your
You would-
conscience
you would-
retains a little bit of what you lived previously.
Yeah, even if it wasn't like something like you intentionally do, like it's like a mannerism that passes on through all those lives or whatever.
Mm.
It's more like just kind of like a flashback, like it's just a momentary picture what it was like just in that moment for that person, just because you have their genes somewhere, or like or their consciousness. You know what I'm saying?
Where your consciousness traveled through remembers a little bit of the being that it once inhabited.
Something like that. Yes, exactly like that.
Yeah.
I think that. Okay, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
'Cause
no,
I feel
I
like
get what you
sometimes
mean.
when I'm trying to explain these thoughts that come out of my brain, I cannot word
No,
them
I've thought about
correctly.
that. I thought about a situation like that too.
Because I've had two separate occasions where that's happened, but only one where I can really like definitely say that it felt like in the past I just could not fucking for the life of me tell what anything was because it was almost like fucking like clay, like shapes. If that makes any sense.
Oh, so like had no real concept of anything at one point in your time.
No, not at all.
Hmm.
Shapes and sounds, people talking.
Hey, that could have just been you as an infant, though.
No, I was fucking like that dream. I had that at like 8 at the time. I think. I guess that is sort of infancy, but
Well, no, I mean, like you probably could have had a memory of when you were an infant.
oh, oh, that could make sense as well.
People do remember, like some people remember the day that they're born.
You would feel like that, like yeah, you would remember that though. Like you would be able to be like, oh yeah, that was that particular moment in time.
Well,
Like,
I mean, it's not always the case. You could still just like have like a memory of like I don't know, maybe something traumatic happened to you and your brain decided to store that somewhere and it just reminded you.
and then I was dropped in that moment.
At that moment, I realized Mama was gone.
Mama had butterfingers and let me sleep.
She dropped me on my head.
That'd be such an anticlimactic fucking realization of that dream. I swear to God,
That was
that's
just a
actually what
memory
that
from
is.
when you were a child.
I swear to
Like a
God,
helpless infant.
and the worst part is, you know, the more I say it out loud, the more I'm like, oh God, he's probably fucking right.
Makes sense, yeah.
No.
It's just a bunch of shapes, sounds, you hear people talking. No real concept of what even is anything, why I'm here.
Fuck, it totally is. It
Yeah.
has to be. That makes me sad.
I mean, like, on a reincarnating topic, though, it's like, I mean, you have seen those things where these kids are, like, telling stories of their past life when they're, like, really young, but they should have no
That's kind of what
concept.
my brain was going as to why I had that dream, but that's why I'm like, oh well.
I mean, if it is a thing, it's bound that somebody would remember at least something for a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
But this kid, like, I remember this kid, like, recollected his entire time in his past life in the war to a T. Remembered his family,
God.
knew them by name. They found the family, and he told them details of shit that there's no way he could have known.
And that was all true?
I guess so. I don't really
Oh
remember.
my God.
I would assume. I really don't know. I haven't looked into stuff like that in a long
think
time.
I'd be a demon child if that were my like, you know, if I were that person's family and this kid was like,
I
I've
didn't
seen your
expect to go
husband.
here, by the way. I had no idea we would come to this point.
I
I
was-
thought I was just gonna be talking about, basically our creator of God, like our creating God, like alien gods.
You can't.
For a
You
while.
one does not simply talk about creation and not think we're going to go unhinged.
Yeah, go completely. Like this, I was ready to discuss the entire. Well, I guess I was trying to like discuss an entire theory upon the fabrication of the human race and how we came
mean, you
into
did.
society. Yeah.
And then we kind of branched off into how that could affect, you know, others
Or how
the
that
rest of the
ends.
society on the planet. Yeah.
Uh,
But I mean, no, that's a fucking. There's so much to that topic in itself. There's so much.
Yeah.
You can never talk about everything.
because it goes off on like there's so much more like we have different tribes in a sense like different areas of our planet but we're all different, we're all the same species, but we have different titles, like we're Americans, we got the Chinese, we got the Russians,
I
we got
tribe Mexican
know,
over here. Hey,
yeah, we got the like we have so many different categories that the same thing with the Anunnaki. They had different categories. They all kind of took their own ships and everything. Maybe multiple of them found Earth and decided to mine on different sections of Earth, teaching, all of the civilizations similar patterns but different at the same time.
One of them decided to come to Earth and let loose a bunch of indentured servants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indentured
Or
servants.
monkeys, whatever you
Monkeys.
would call them.
And who's to say that this was their first planet that they came to if they had done this before?
Oh my God.
Because I mean, honestly, when I think of other life on other planets, I mean, there could be different. The only form of life we know is carbon based that we know is possible. So that's definitely possible on other planets to have more carbon based like species alive. And
Yeah.
I think it's totally likely that there's other humans on planets basically doing what we're doing now. If they didn't
Avatar
take
shit.
some of us with them to explore the rest of the universe or the rest of our galaxy at least.
I don't doubt that they fucking took some.
I mean,
don't
that's a
doubt that
theory
for a
of
second.
how the Mayans disappeared. I think it's more believable. When did the Mayans disappear? Hold on. I said I didn't want to Google a whole bunch, but I really want to know, when did the Mayans disappear? One by one, the classic cities in southern Iowa lands were abandoned, and in the year 900, Mayan civilization in that region had collapsed.
900.
A lot of people, a big theory I think is disease. which makes sense.
COVID.
Disease with COVID. COVID 900. COVID
It's so sad.
00.
Oh my god.
Nah. But yeah.
COVID-9. Okay, I'm done.
COVID 9. 99999. But yeah. I forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah, like that's always been a theory that they got taken up into space, but I mean the more likely theory is that they just got wiped out by disease.
I mean, like I said, I don't doubt that they took a few with them, or at the very least, they definitely took the calendar maker for sure.
Hey, you draw a good calendar. You come with me.
You make good calendar. You want other species of our
You know time. You come.
Hey, you got to keep track of when we're coming back, bro.
We don't want to be gone for too long. Ends up being gone for up until now. Oh
Because people have, that's another thing of like the delusion of their gene splicing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, you know, there's recollections and documentation of humans living hundreds of years, like way back in the day, like during that time frame. There's like humans living like a really long fucking time, and other species of animals living really fucking long lives back then. I don't know if it's something in the food or what, or maybe it had to do with their genes being split into us. Like, cause even in the even in the Bible, like there were people who lived to be like 700-800.
Fuck.
You know, things like that. Like I know there was certain people in the Bible who lived to be several hundred years old. People in ancient Sumerian religions living to be hundreds of years old. The fucking Hebrew Bible, the Quran says it. So many other religions have documentation of very similar people living to be hundreds of years old. And I mean, maybe that was a thing, you know, like as these genes wore down, because I assume not every human got them immediately, right?
Or at the very least, like they were selective with who they were breeding with,
who was being bred, and who, you know, and that also came with the different tribes who decided to do that and who decided to not. Ones who were angry and like seen us as, you know, vermin or just like animals and wanted to wipe us out because we were gaining so much intelligence. And you know that's the case in the flood, right? Like,
oh my god,
intentionally causing a flood in order to, you know, wipe out. Yeah. And I mean that could be. I mean, you're not. I don't even want to say like you're wrong, Swade, because it's a possibility. Like two warring sides of this civilization, you know, one wanting to advance us and, you know, keep us around and help us move along, and another one wanting to destroy us, seeing us as vermin.
Vermin with intelligence.
Yeah, that they gave, like the one side gave us.
I mean, how would you feel if like a civilization you guys bred, or like our civilization had kind of worked up, started becoming as powerful as we are? You think that it'd be appropriate to fucking wipe them out if they became too dangerous, even like dangerous enough to like destroy themselves?
I guess that's a good question. I don't know.
I mean, because that's a heavy ass question, and I mean, who's to say that we haven't grown advanced enough, if not more advanced than those, you know, those fucking fuck, I'm not gonna pronounce it.
Annunaki.
Anunnaki.
Well, they have space travel.
I mean, just because they have space travel doesn't mean that we're not advanced in other
other aspects.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck is nuclear?
Oh my god. I mean, that makes sense, but why would we blow ourselves up that hard? God damn.
Well, I mean, that's what people initially go to when they think of nuclear. They don't think about the actual, like, the energy that it emits and can be used for.
Oh, the actual, like, electrical power kind of thing?
Yeah, like harnessing it for power, and how reliable it is and how clean it is.
It's just, you know, that
the
not
super efficient source of power.
That's the problem. That's all it is. It's just not everyone's gonna fucking play nice and use it.
But what if it explode? I mean, that's a genuine fear. I mean, the shit fucking devastating if it goes off.
Yeah. Even just
everything has consequences.
Even just industrial plants that go off with fucking nuclear reactors and then are fucking cataclysmic almost.
Yeah, I mean, Chernobyl, big example. Yeah, man. Shit be whack, yo.
Mm-hmm. How are we looking on the time right now?
We've only been going for about 50 minutes.
You said 15?
50.
I was like, what?
Yeah, we haven't even made it to the halfway mark.
I was like, brother, I know that we've fucking gotten close.
Yeah,
I
no.
was just making sure we weren't going over time.
No,
Just
no,
making sure.
no. We still got a little bit to
Because,
go on.
oh my god, I just, like I said, this kind of topic gets me so giddy because there's so much you can go with it and whatnot. And I don't, and a lot of these theories I can kind of look at and dismiss even just a little bit. But with a lot of this, it's just, there's a lot that lines up, and a lot of it has to do with like just basic gene knowledge. Like, it just, it makes all the sense when it comes to a civilization coming down and their genes kind of slowly dying away for a while.
Yeah, like kind of getting watered down by the human, like the
Yeah,
human
no, that makes
DNA
perfect sense.
that we have. Because I mean, it's possible that not all of us got it, and the people who have it now are just the product of breeding, and it just kind of gets less and less as it goes down.
What do you think they would have looked like?
It's very similar to us, probably a little like I would imagine somewhat different. Because I mean that's going back to the evidence portion. People, the depictions they had like weirder shaped heads, and it's in
Mhm.
theory that's why so many like ancient people like wore these headdresses and stuff in such odd shapes was to represent, you know, the people who, they used to worship or did worship
Oh.
or help them, and that's just passed down by generation. There was another thing was having the weird shaped skulls and everything, but I mean that can be kind of deduced because there's these certain African cultures who, when they're young, they tie things around their infant's head in order to give them that more elongated skull because it's seen as like a mark of beauty or a mark of intelligence.
That's so odd. That's not something I would have done to my baby. Just saying.
Well, I mean, it's not our culture either.
I mean, yeah, you're right. You're right. That's why. But
Yeah.
still, just my image or the image of a fucking rubber band on a baby. It's like, oh no.
I don't exactly know what it is, but I mean, they have to do it at that point because the skull's so soft that it can shake
Yeah,
out
they'll
like
be
that.
able to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know it's like humane or whatever, but I'm just over here like, what the?
But
Okay.
taking it away from that sense, if that wasn't a thing at a time, where did this other odd shaped skull come from? And why is it seen as a sign of beauty and intelligence if it wasn't passed down that way by seeing it from maybe a female Anunnaki that was seen as beautiful and her head was shaped? Something like that, you know?
Okay, yeah, I could see that with some kind of like higher regarded Yatsunaki. I'm trying to say it more so I can fucking pronounce it right.
Imagine like you're saying Anubis. Anu.
Anubis. You're like making
Anunnaki.
Anubis. Yeah. Anunnaki.
Get hooked on phonics. The Anunnaki, yeah.
Anunnaki. Okay, gotcha. But no, but yeah, I could see it being some kind of like someone in higher power, or even someone just famous, right? They didn't have to be someone like all powerful or anything. Someone just fucking like mildly attractive.
I mean, there's some more like theories on them as well because you guys know, so UFO sightings and stuff. That UFO sightings didn't really become too much of a thing until after the atomic bombs dropped. Until after the bombs dropped. So after they dropped, after 1945, was that when we dropped the bombs? I believe.
That sounds right. Yeah, 1940
44
for
or
sure.
45,
Like
something like that.
area.
Well, after those, that's when people really started seeing shit. And there's a theory saying that they left behind, certain devices or maybe like monitoring chips for that reason of saying, okay, well we detected this, let's fucking go and report back to mothership.
At the very least, like yo, they blowing shit up. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Damn, they fucking killing each other like this. We ain't fucking with that. That's what destroyed our planet. Things like that.
I see more of the latter, where it's like we kind of reached a threshold and now they aren't going to monitor, or like, we've activated some kind of threshold on their end.
It's like,
not some
okay,
kind
they
of, like,
made it here. They made it this far on their own. They're good.
Yeah, or at the very least, like, they're on a higher intelligence where we might need a monitor, or now we have to be
Or
more
maybe they
aware.
thought, well, that's it. They're just gonna kill each other. They might as well abandon this species and move on to the
Yeah,
next one.
yep. We don't even have to do shit. They'll do it themselves. Nice.
Because when you go on a span of billions of years, not millions, not thousands, like billions of years, and depending on how long the civilization has existed or will exist for, they have all the time in the universe. At that
Oh
point,
yeah, big time.
it can go on for forever.
I imagine it is like even just like the small time that they spent here on Earth, just visiting with our ancient ancestors. Yeah, that's a small speck of time. But like if they ever came back, it probably felt like no time at all to them.
Yeah, it's like nothing, and who know? Like we don't know how long they live, like how long they survive.
Yeah, I was
They
about to
just
say,
came back.
what if they got one guy who's like in charge of monitoring our race, and he fell asleep for like an hour, and an hour of their time is however many years for us.
Like several thousand years our time, and
He said, "Holy
They're gonna
shit, there's
walk in the room, and
skyscrapers!"
it's like Jeremy, you were supposed to watch
You're
them. Dude,
supposed
I'm
to
sorry, I fell
watch the
asleep for 5
humans.
minutes.
It was 5 minutes.
It
What
was
could have
5 minutes.
gone wrong?
It was 2 hours. Yeah, it was just 2 hours. That's 2,000 Earth years. What?
Oh my god, what have we done?
It's like, well, the emergency monitoring robot came back. What did it say? They have nukes. They have nukes? Oh fuck, let's go.
That's kind of what I was thinking. They're
The
like,
monkeys made nukes.
it's not so bad. They're just monkeys, right? They just made bigger buildings. They blew.
I don't know what they do. A
themselves up.
shinier rock.
What you mean? Yeah, no. They have bombs now. Thanks. Yeah, and that's thanks to you.
You see, Jeremy, this is what fucking happens when you sleep on the job. Set an alarm
Isn't
next
that-
time, asshole.
Hey man,
Isn't
movie
that the
plot.
plot
We need
of,
to make a
like-
movie.
Is it really?
It better
no,
not be,
there's-
because I just came up with a great movie idea.
No,
Well, it's getting
that's
contact with
it's
Netflix
a
right now.
character from Amazon. Invincible.
Who?
Not
Fucking-
quite.
The fucking the orange fella. Fucking he's played by Seth Rogen. I can't remember what his name
Yeah, I know
is.
who you're talking about.
It's literally, well, not literally, but pretty much what happened. He came to Earth, like squared up with the main character, and then
Oh,
realized he
yeah, I
could
remember what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah, but that wasn't an Earth. That guy technically, Nolan's not from Earth.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, you're right. You're right.
If
You're
you
right.
haven't seen
You're right.
Invincible by now, you're a fucking fool.
Also, it still fucks with me
I've
that
seen
his
it.
name's Nolan. Every
I've
time I
seen it.
say it, I'm like,
Yeah,
oh.
his name's Nolan. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it kind of caught me off guard too for a second. I was
Oh
like,
my
wait.
God.
I know the silence. I was like, oh god,
Oh,
I gotta
God.
explain it.
Let
No,
him-
no,
have
no,
him
no.
explain. that He's not
I
from
just
Earth.
been. No.
Oh, Nolan's an Anunnaki. Okay.
Obviously, come on.
Obviously.
Like I
yeah.
said, just I hear that name now, and my brain never. I just think of Arnold. Like that's all my
Nolan
brain
would
goes
a good
to.
one to have on for this one tonight.
I know. I thought about that. I was like,
He's
next
on right
time.
now. You could get him in the guest for
For the
Oh,
for the after-
after-
yes.
Yeah, the after show.
Yes.
Yeah.
the
yes,
Foot
yes,
Pit Club.
Fuck Pit Club. All right.
Jeez.
I guess we could talk about the more recent events in the after show. You guys want to do that?
I feel like he's more up to date with it too, so it'd be fucking.
Yeah, we could do that. We could just go over some bullshit on that. I mean, we're almost at an hour. We have like 2 minutes, but I don't know.
Yeah, we can cut off here
You guys-
and then we'll
you guys-
catch
well,
up with
no,
you
do you
guys.
guys just want to sit here in silence for 2 minutes until the timer reaches?
What the? I mean, are we doing it? I guess we're doing.
Mm. Yeah, how long are we gonna keep this going?
We have 1 minute left.
Sure. Oh my god, that's pain.
My attention span will last as long. Come on, man.
Bro, I know.
I can hear the string being stretched.
We
Oh
tried.
my
We
God.
tried. We couldn't do it. We
No.
couldn't do it. Our autism's acting up too much.
Our autism.
Is he like actually on right now? Swade, message him real quick.
Yeah, seriously, he's on.
Oh, he's on. He's on. Okay, well, let's
Hold
go.
on, let me. I'll go call.
Yeah, call him real quick. Call him, and I will.
He's in the chat. Hold on.
Yeah. Just pop in real quick, and I'll say thank you guys so much for watching the Clowntown podcast.
Appreciate you, baby.
Here on the Chieftain Jehovah Variety channel. Hope this was an entertaining section topic for you guys. I had a good time talking about it.
I love this topic. That kind of topic is what I hope we talk more about. I don't want to get too stuck in conspiracy theories too much, but at the same time, yeah, creation and all that stuff, my kind of jam.
Yeah. And I actually got like my brother actually wanted me to talk about this today. Like big shout out to my brother. Love you, man.
Hey, appreciate you.
Hope that was to your liking. Probably not. We didn't really go over too much of the Anunnaki, but I mostly just want to talk about my theories on them. I can go more into the lore about them a little deeper on another day.
I want to come back to this for sure. Like, this is not a topic that
we'll probably go back into the more of the lore section of the Anunnaki another day, and I'll come with my notebook in hand and everything and start like reading off scripture or something. I don't know.
Fucking awesome.
Oh my god. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning into the Clown Town podcast. If you want to see us talk about more recent events in the after show for this week, hit that join button down below. I don't think it's on mobile. I think it's only on desktop. But do what you do, figure it out.
It's better on the computer, anyways.
If you don't join us for the after show, we will see you next week. Hopefully with a better topic.
Take it easy.
You won't get foot pics.
No feet pics for you. You didn't pay.
That's just for Swade.
That's just for Swade. Bye.